Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. I have a bit of a mess going on here, but I just know you're going to forgive me when you see how incredible this project is. So here in front of me is my Sizzix Big Shot. And I know that the day I finally broke down and bought one for myself, and in Canada I think I paid about 175 bucks, I said to somebody that day, I said, I bought this thing and finally now I'm a big shot. I think I got a feeble laugh. Anyway, this, for those of you who might not own one or be familiar with this gizmo, it both cuts things, like using these metal dies. If I could pick one up, metal dies like so, as well as embossing things with embossing folders. And that's another story, and that's another day. Anyway, a long time ago, in a land far away, my mom and I had a craft store. And at that time, there were, one of the things we carried in our store were these little tiny, and what is this, 3 inches probably? 3-inch square. Can't find my ruler. Yeah, 3 inches square. Little fancy dancy pieces of leather. And it seems to me, if I remember correctly, it was being used to cover forms to make jewelry, like earrings and so on. And you know, there were pieces that were left over when the store closed, and they've been in my possession for the last 20 or so years. Anyway, I pulled out some of these, and this is all I have left now, of these little squares of leather, as well as other pieces of leather that I've salvaged from who knows what. This one you can see is really quite thick. I don't know, that's a good, probably 1/8 of an inch there. This is more of the same, this sort of brown pebbly one. This one has a texture to it, you can probably see that, but it also is firmer and thinner, less fuzzy on the backside than some of the ones I've shown you. This was one of the 3-inch pieces I had used. Oh no, this was a bigger piece. This was a double, a 3x6. And I'll show you what I made with this. But I'm also not throwing these itty bits out because, of course, something can be done with those as well. This was another color. It was sort of like, what would you call that? A stone color or something. And I also have this, which is hard and thick. I don't think this will work because I've had a little bit of difficulty with the, there's my missing bird. I was looking high and low. I knew I cut out 4 birds, but I couldn't find the 4th one. But pieces like this I'm keeping because I have tiny little dies. No, that one's too big. That one's too big. Where, oh where is my little die gone? You can see that that little die of a tag will fit on there. And you can be darn sure that I will use it. Something like this, it probably won't fit on here. I suppose I could try, see what happens. Anyway, I've saved all the scraps for now. I'll talk about that in a minute. This is another type of leather. And I should also say that recently I did something with leather that I had salvaged from my husband's, one of his leather jackets that he had worn out. So there is leather. If you don't have leather pieces in your stash because maybe you've never done any leather tooling or anything like that, that's okay, because I'm sure there is now if you start looking for it, you will find it. You will see it in thrift stores or elsewhere in your closet, in your husband's closet. Anyway, enough talk. Let's get to it. So what I did was a little bit at a time, trying different dyes, trying different pieces of leather. I cut a number of shapes, and maybe I should show you that. Can you see this? Maybe if I put this here. Okay, here are the 4 birds that I cut out using this die. And unfortunately, I always remove packaging, throw it out, put the supply away, and I'm then at a loss as to what it actually was. This die made those pieces, and it looks quite nice. I then used some dragonfly dies. You can see I didn't quite finish cleaning some of the little bits out. I used those dies to make these dragonflies, and I think they are spectacular. I was working in another part of my studio, and I didn't have my little pokey thing there. Let's pick an easy one. So you can, I think I picked this up at the Dollar Tree, so it was very affordable. Now, one thing, okay, maybe that didn't cut through that well, and I'm going to have a bit of an issue. And again, the leather is, very soft. I think part of that maybe comes through the dyeing process and whatever other process they used to add, say, the gold to it. This tool, like I said, I got at the Dollar Tree, very affordable. I probably still have them. But another way to try to maybe score something for nothing that may be equally as effective is to cozy up to your dentist. Years ago, when I was doing watercolor painting on a regular basis, we were always encouraged to try to scrounge, use dental tools. This one looks like the tip is broken off. That's probably why it was taken out of service. But this dental pick here has 2 different ends, and I asked my longtime dentist if they had any tools that they were ready to part with, and I got these. So let's just see if one of these works just as well. Maybe this side would be better. Maybe a finger would be better. It's poking these dies out is kind of a real pain in the you-know-where. And leather probably makes it, excuse me, a wee bit more challenging. So I guess that's something to consider when you're picking your die. Obviously there was nothing to do with on those birds. I also wanted to point out that depending on the type of leather, you may find that some of them come out a wee bit furry looking. And that's more visible, say, on these tags. You can see that it's, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it was just a little bit, it probably challenges the die a bit It's easy enough to clean that up on something this shape, though. This, I wonder, maybe I had already shaved around this one, so maybe that one. So it's basically this black leather piece that I have that cut nicely, but again, here and there needs a little bit of a little close shave. Unless your application for the final use is going to be such that it doesn't matter. Now, my initial thing was, oh, wouldn't these make great dangles or whatever, poke a hole. Oh, do I have my punches? I thought I cut my punches here. Oh. Did you know that you're supposed to grunt and groan when you reach for something? Okay, so I have this punch, which is tiny. The handles were starting to come apart because this was a thrift store purchase. So I used Fabri-Tac to glue this plastic back together, but I don't know if it's going to hold or not, so I just reinforced it with some masking tape. Why does it seem to have gotten tighter also? Maybe I should take the handles right off and throw them away. Okay, so that's, I don't know what that is, a 1/16 of an inch maybe. This is probably an 1/8 of an inch. I guess let's try the smaller hole first. Can always make it bigger if necessary. I'm going to punch a hole in this because I'm thinking this would be really cute if I strung, a thread or something in it and used it as a, a dangle somewhere. So you can see that worked quite nicely. These little tags, but that might be too, I'll try this bigger size. There is an indentation there for a hole in the tag. It didn't cut through, so on these it did, but not on the black leather. So anyway, that is kind of where I stand with that. On this leaf, I was kind of wondering if this was supposed to be a cutout or if it was just a textural thing. I should probably leave it alone. Yeah, it's probably just a line to indicate some veining on the leaf. So on these simple shapes, it, really kind of easy breezy. Maybe I should just poke this out in case I do some more dragonflies, because I did want to demo it. I know that when I first got into this junk journaling and people would talk about big shots and dies and all that, and I thought, oh, it was like they were speaking a foreign language. Didn't understand what was going on, thought it seemed very complicated with the layers. I finally broke down, bought the machine, bought a few dies, and then when I heard the creaking and groaning of the machine, it just seemed like, oh dear, I'm going to break it on the first day I've had it. Apparently, they're very resilient and tough, although the woman that I bought it from, who has a craft store, longtime craft store, said that she's actually had people come in to the store wanting warranty on their purchase because they tried to emboss a license plate, like a car license plate. So needless to say, that is not what was intended for that. Shouldn't be doing this, making you wait, but one more and I'm done. I will work on the butterflies after I turn the camera off because This one in particular didn't cut very well here, so I might have to do a little surgery. Yeah, I'm afraid to, maybe. Oh, I got it. But there are others that need work, so let me put that aside, get it out of the way. Oh, I should show you this. I had a fairly big piece of this leather, and I thought, oh, why don't I try something really different? I like these sort of, abstract things as well. And I thought, oh, it could easily be cut down. I should show you that in case it matters. The brand is a cut above, and the item is lattice 2. But you can, or maybe you can see that all it did was make the indentation. So I'm thinking, and I started going around the perimeter, I'm thinking to finish this off. Well, I guess I could leave it sort of like a, excuse me, like a tool defect. But if I wanted the openness, which is why I gravitated to this in the first place, then I would need to go in there with probably with an X-Acto knife or my little Fisker doohickey here to get into the nooks and crannies and give it a nice clean cut. So I'll work on that in my own time. So, where did I put the leather? So to show you how slick this is, I'll use these small pieces. So this one, I don't know if you can tell, is sort of like a snake skin, and it's purple and black. So really cool. And of course, with these, there's some kind of a label here. With these, you also, or with that one anyway, have the option of using the purple kind of suede-y side. Okay, so, and this isn't going to be really a big shot tutorial. I was also kind of getting concerned when I saw all these things getting so marked up, but that's just the nature of the beast, and that's how it works. Oh, here's my other one. So what I found is that I'm using this, I don't know, do they call them platforms? This, and if it's, it's like when you're buying a 2x4, ladies. If you were building something, you would want the curve to be on top so that as things dry and the weight and all that, it would become straight. You wouldn't put something dished out. This one is worse. You wouldn't put something that's all dished out into, you wouldn't use it that way. You'd use it this way. Like if you were, say you had a plank or something and you were making a bookcase, you'd want the weight eventually to flatten this out. So that's your carpentry hint for today. Okay, so let's pick maybe this metallic one. That would probably look really cool with these dragonflies. So let's see, we'll get and of course, I always try to get every single inch out of it. Oh, that's not bad. Maybe there's room for a little tag. I do have other teeny weeny ones here. So I thought about this. This is what I was initially going to be using, some of these tags. And then I thought, well, what good is that going to be? The center, I could try it. The center is going to be empty. But I suppose it could then be backed with something. It could be like a little window frame. A little leather frame with some sort of a backing. So that is how I would typically arrange this to get the most money out of it. The most, be the most efficient. So I'm going to put this way with the curve, with it like this, so that it's going to make ultimate contact. Did I move anything? This guy probably slid down a bit. He's trying to take flight. Oh, and this guy got a little out of position. Okay, normally, you know, you wouldn't be worrying that as much as I am about positioning, because probably nobody skimps with this stuff like I do. Anyway, okay, hold your breath. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to inch it in there. And again, you're not going to be able to see the whole thing. The thing to remember, though, is that you want to feed it in. You crank it once it reaches the point of resistance. You know, there could be some creaking and cracking, a little banging. And what I did, especially with that thicker leather, was, you know, just go back and forth several times. The thinner stuff, you know, probably doesn't need all that. But again, it's not worth it to find it didn't cut out, and then hope you can get it back into place. Oh, it doesn't cut a hole. It just leaves. Now that's really hard to see. I can barely see it, and I'm here because of the glittery stuff that's on there. Oh, that's good. So, oh, I'm glad I tried it. I'll be able to use it on more of my, on those other teeny weeny little scraps. Oh, I should have been able to figure that out, because I used this one. Did I not use this one? I thought I used this oval. Yes, I did. Yeah. Duh. Anyway, it's Friday when I'm videotaping this, so can we blame it on a long, hard week? So that will need a little bit of work to poke out some of the tiny detail. But oh my goodness, that is gorgeous. Especially this one. If you have dragonflies wherever you live, you know that their wing, well, they're all kinds of, I mean, probably hundreds of varieties, but their wings tend to be iridescent. So around here we get blue ones and green ones and big ones and little ones and orangey ones. So yeah, lovely. So like I said, I'll work on that after the fact. I don't know if I can get anything more out of that. There's also this little tag. So won't these be the cutest little things on like a little mini dangle? Okay, let's do another one. Because I don't know about you, but I am hooked on this. Okay, now that I know, now that I've come to my senses, let's, well, there's a limit to how much I can get on a small. Let's see. Maybe let's do that. Now this one, somehow I bent, so I don't know. Might be a waste of, I won't waste the attempt on a good piece like this, a good piece of leather like this. I'll try it on something else that I care less about. Okay. Oh, duh. Oh no. Double duh. I thought I was going to be so clever there. Let's slide this little guy, center this little guy a little more. I don't know if that matters or not, but why tempt fate? Wait, come back. This little guy moved. Not that it matters if they're crooked. It's not like there's a grain to this, or a stripe or something that we have to be aware of. Okay, we try again. I don't know what day this is in terms of the 100-day challenge. It might be number 8, I'm not sure. But if you are a faithful viewer, it won't really matter because you're tuning in every day anyway, and you're not missing a thing. So you can see where it cuts nicely. It cuts really nicely. Where are my cutest little scissors? Where it has not cut through, it kind of furs up the edge a bit. So I'll just quickly do that and make it all purty. It punched out the little hole. Again, so cute. I'm so glad I tried this. I know that some people, like Francesca at Junk Journal Joy from Italy, has run a lot of different things through her Sizzix or Big Shot, and I just haven't, until today, haven't played with anything other than, different types of paper. Okay, now what would be good here? You know what? I feel like throwing caution to the wind and trying this. Now, obviously, it's not going to... the die is way bigger than the piece of leather, but what it does cut, well, let's hope it cuts. Otherwise, I'm going to be a little choked if I waste this nice. Anyway, let's give it a shot. Let's live on the wild side. Try it. Again, this leather is really soft. I chalk that up to the fact that it's been dyed and, treated with, different finishes have been put on it. Are you ready? Oh. Sorry, I shouldn't have thrown that. These little cutouts, they can be used. And of course, there isn't time, and I didn't plan for it. Look at that. To, take, well, okay, what would you do with it? Well, clearly anything you damn well want to. I've talked about dangles. I think that these little things obviously could be glued on to something as an embellishment. It's kind of a shame in a way that I have to do this trimming, this cutting, but it could speak to the quality of that die. I don't know, maybe that die isn't the greatest one in the world. Or to the leather. I mean, I've used that on paper and it works fine. Or, you know what, maybe I should have put a paper shim in and just had it chomp down a little closer on the, a little tighter on the die. Okay, where does this one go? Oh, I see. Anyway, I'll do my usual little propaganda spiel for the 100-day challenge. If I haven't convinced, if someone hasn't convinced you to do it, well, I don't know. We might have to gracefully give up here, but I'm enjoying this so thoroughly, and I have so many different ideas coming that are making me revisit supplies and things and ideas that I've had for, I mean, supplies that I've had for years, ideas that are brand new, because now I have a whole arsenal of tools. Like, I don't think this machine here probably even existed when we were selling this leather in our shop, and certainly, you know, so hey, it's technological advances, baby. So as my skills, and you'll see with some other days that I have planned, I'll be showing you something that maybe I did 4 years ago and not redoing it, but recreating it today using the extra skill that I have, and a whole variety of tools and supplies like ink. Anyway, you're not riveted, I'm sure, by watching me cut this out. So I'm going to, I don't even know what time it is, but anyway, I'm going to quit now. I'm going to stop here for you guys and just carry on cleaning this up. I will, sorry. I'll drop everything and just give you a final little look at what I did with you and before you, including these new pieces. So, you know, I have some homework left, but you certainly get the idea that if you have some leather scraps, you have some dyes, you have some, you have this machine, you will be able to do some really awesome embellishments. Awesome, unique, and I think you owe it to yourself to try. Now, if you, because I know that people always like to offer people alternatives. If you don't own dyes, you don't own a Big Shot or other equivalent type, you know, die cutting machine, then I would think that you could if you get your hands on a scrap piece of leather, why not use a stencil? You know, obviously nothing too intricate, because you can see it can be a little painstaking, but you know, a fairly simple shape. Maybe work on the back side of the leather, like on the, you know, the more suede-y side. Trace out the pattern, and then with some really sharp little scissors or a craft knife and a cutting mat, cut them out that way. And anyway, I'm absolutely thrilled with this, and I hope you are too, and choose to give it a try. And I'm sure that you'll see these things showing up in one form or another in future videos as I figure out what to do with them. So thank you very much. Keep crafting, start your 100-day project. And in fact, okay, let's let's have some reverse onus here. If you have started a 100-day project with any sort of a topic, it has crafting or otherwise, why don't you make the commitment to write me in the comments and let me know what it is. And that way I will know that you're not just a voyeur. You're not just coming back for my wonderful sense of humor, but in fact you're getting motivated and you're taking action. How's that for a plan? I'd love to hear from you. I mean, obviously, if you wish. If you don't, then ignore me. Anyway, it's Friday here, so have a great weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, bye.